What is some advice you'd have for inquirers, catechumens, new converts, people approaching the church from an American perspective?
Well, read books by reputable authors, and especially the saints. If somebody has an ST in front of their name, they're the better authority than someone has a DR in front of their name.
Right.
But look for reputable sources about the faith and read what they have to say. And also try to find a good, healthy parish and plug in, because it's one thing to study orthodoxy in the abstract, but orthodoxy is not an abstraction. Orthodoxy is a life that you have to actually enter into, and you can only do that in a parish.
Yeah. That's a really important point. A lot of people, especially with online now, and I mean, obviously I love the online Orthodox work that has brought so many people in, but it becomes such this intellectual, abstract concept, and
Right.
it's hard for people to transition into a lived experience.
Right.
I've known a lot of people, and myself included, for a time where I believed in the church, I believed in Orthodoxy, but I wasn't going to a parish. And there's sort of this weird rut you can get into where it's all chat rooms and YouTube or whatever, and you're not actually going. And so I think that's a really good
I
good
think
advice.
it's great that people are discovering orthodoxy online, and when I meet people who are interested in orthodoxy that come to my parish, I usually ask them how they found out about orthodoxy or what got them interested. And it's amazing to me how often it's because they discovered it online. They discovered it on YouTube, watching Jay Dyer or
Right.
some other Orthodox figure like Roosh or something like that.
Right.
And so that's all good, because if they didn't know about Orthodoxy, they wouldn't be interested.
Right.
But you have to go beyond just hearing about it and thinking about it and actually doing it.
Yeah.
And that's where the parish comes in.
I recently met somebody at my parish, a new person coming around, and he said he found out about Orthodoxy through TikTok. I was like, that's a first. I've never met anybody that came to the church from TikTok, but glory to God. I mean, he's using everything,
Right.
Yeah, I definitely think that there's so much good out there. And nowadays I'm just much more willing to be charitable when we look at things like with all of the attacks coming at the church. Whenever I find anybody who's not doing that, I'm usually more charitable, right? I'm talking more about like public orthodoxy or the Fordham, all that kind of stuff that seems so openly subversive and sort of, the way I see it, like a directed attack. It's like we're gonna try to get in there, infiltrate, subvert, and destroy from within.
Right.
And then you've got other people who are sincere and they actually love the truth and they're just trying their best, but they might maybe have some bad takes at times, right?
Right. Right.
What are you wrote an article about public orthodoxy when I was going through your stuff on patristic faith. I saw that, and
I've written more than a few.
I'm sure you have.
They just put too much stuff out for me to keep up with all the nonsense that they publish. But
yeah, I had a caller recently ask me, explain Fordham. We've done a few videos going into the Fordham University and all that. What are your takes on that?
Well, when you look at
a lot.
there were a couple of videos that came out a while back about how you have these foundation money, the different foundations that fund subversive scholarship in religious organizations. Jay did a great show on this topic.
Yes.
And I think the Fordham folks are a classic example of that, because they're getting a lot of money from somewhere. And when you look at their articles, they publish an article, then they'll have it translated into several languages. And that's not something that somebody's doing on a shoestring. There's somebody giving them money to make that happen.
Right.
And there's some other folks out there that are doing similar kind of stuff that wind up getting grants that fund their work. Whereas, no one's ever, given me a grant to go get a PhD and, or anything like that. No one's given a grant to Jay Dyer to do that kind of stuff from these foundations, because they're promoting a particular agenda.
Yeah. Yeah. And when people pay money, they expect something for that money. They're buying something.
And the thing is, it's not like they're bribing people who are otherwise perfectly orthodox and then turning them into liberals. Right. They're looking for people who are already inclined in that direction, and they're choosing to fund them, but they're not choosing to fund people who are more conservative.
Right.
And there's some great scholars out there. like Tican Pino is a great scholar who I happen to know personally.
Right.
Um, he's got all the credentials. He's got a PhD. He's a scholar on St. Gregory Palamas. He's read a great dissertation on the energy's essence distinction.
Mm-hmm.
As far as I know, he's not getting any grant money from George Soros to advance his scholarship,
Right.
and I don't suspect he probably will.
Right. Yeah, the video you were talking about, in case anybody was curious, was how religious institutions are subverted, state intelligence and foundation funding. That's definitely a great video that everybody should check out if they're interested in that topic, because there's certainly a lot to be said there. There was a documentary recently we watched on the channel. Um, oh man, what is it called? It's, the subversion of American Orthodoxy, something like that, and it goes really in depth with the foundation funding and the money behind it, and that's kind of it's not scary, but it's very telling, to see that. I mean, of course it would be this way, right? It's the true church. Of course, the enemy's got the target right on the church. That's the goal, right? Is to try to destroy this. Now,
What's kind of interesting about that is that there were a whole series of videos that came out around the same time, and some of them just focused on what are these whack out liberals doing.
mm,
And then there was this video that came out that said, where are they getting their money? Well, the video that was focused on what are these whacked out liberals doing, those videos are still up on YouTube. But the
yeah,
one that exposed where the money was coming from, that one
got
got
pulled,
taken down. That one you
and
can only watch on Rumble.
that's the one we watched on my channel, because I noticed that. I said, okay, this isn't on YouTube, so I guess I'll take the arrows and I'll put it on my channel and on YouTube. And it hasn't gotten taken down yet, but now that I said that, who knows? But yeah, absolutely. Everybody should go check out that Rumble documentary, because it's
Right.
really good.